Alright, here's our grid that we're going to go ahead and start adding muntins to. So the first thing that I'd like to do is just add a basic size muntin to everything on the grid. So if we select the grid, let's go up here and go to mullion. And I want to add a mullion to all grids, and I'm going to use the standard mullion that's the same size as all the horizontal mullions that we had, or not all the horizontal, but the horizontal mullion that goes down the center here is going to be 2.5 by 5 inch rectangular. So I'm just going to use that size and then change the rest. So I'm going to hit all grid lines and then click on the grid that we have established with our grids in the last video, and that puts a mullion in every location that we had a grid line. Let's take a look at that in 3D so you see what's going on. So that's our really basic curtain wall, and it doesn't have any of the characteristics of the one that's on this side that we're going to make changes to. So we're going to proceed now to make changes and get this to look a lot more like the one on the side. So let's begin with setting up different sized mullions. If we look at the one on the side, we'll go to the 3D view and pick front. We have around the outside edge of the curtain wall are all the same size, and then all the verticals are the same size, and they happen to be the 5 inch by 5 inch rectangular. So what I'm going to show you is how we can, and I'm going to see if we can do it over here. Yeah, so let's do it this way so we can really see it changing. I'm going to show you how you can select the mullions in multiples so that you're not having to pick one at a time. So I'm going to put my cursor over the area and pick that first mullion, and then I want to right click, and if we right click you have a select mullions option, and I want to select all border mullions, which selects all the mullions on the border, and I'm going to switch out that mullion size to the 5 inch by 5 inch rectangular, and that updated all of our rectangular. We can also select the first mullion. I'm going to hold down the control key and select the one above it as well, and I'm going to right click again, choose select mullions across grid line, which selects all the vertical mullions across the grid line. I'm going to set those to 5 inch by 5 inch mullions as well. So now we've got our pattern pretty much intact, and we're ready to start to make the changes to the pattern. Now I'm looking at this pattern. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until I hit the door, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 panels here. So I'm going to kind of come up with a system that I think will work better with this layout. So 10, it seems to me we could try doing 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. So that means that this first panel here, I want to take this mullion and have it cross over and make a cut between these two mullions. Well, the way to do that is if you select the mullion, you have these little plus or minus signs that look like, but they're actually, if you click on them, do you see how it joins those two mullions together? And on this one I want it to stay up on this side, and I want it to have it go to the top of the bottom mullion on that side. Now with this mullion I'm going to switch it. I want it to go down this way, so that we're going to do that with every other one. So we have, oh, maybe this one should be down. I guess it doesn't make any difference because one of these is going to be down and up. So let me undo that. So we're going to start with down, up, down, up, down. So that means I want to take this one and do that, and then between these two mullions we're going to cross them over. Did I do that right? Oh, nope, not that one, but this one. There we go. And this one should be, so see how we're creating this weave pattern. So we have up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and so this one would be up, up here, and then we want this to cross over here. All right, so you just have to pay attention to the pattern and figure out what to do next. So that's going to go down, and then this is going to cross over. That stays up, and this one is going to go down. And did I cross over the right one? Yeah, this is going to cross over. That stays up. This goes up, and then we're going to leave that one as the end. So there's our pattern. We've got this weaving pattern. Here we're going to get rid of a mullion, so I'm going to select that mullion and hit delete. And we've got a little problem here as well that I would like to fix. So let's see if we can edit this to get that to work. So I'm going to edit the curtain wall, and it looks like what I want this to do is I want it to align with the edge. And we end up with two panels in the same place, so I just deleted that lower panel and that cleaned up that corner. Good. Okay. Next we're going to put the panels in. So these panels are all fine as glass panels, but the ones at the top, I'll put my cursor near there and then just keep on toggling until it highlights the panel. Panels highlighted, and then I can do select panels along a horizontal grid, which selects all those upper panels. And we have two types of glazing panels. We have glazed and solid. I'm going to change it to solid, which changes it to the yellow panel. Here I want to have a door instead, and I'm going to switch this so that it goes in. And I want to get rid of these two bottom mullions. Now I can replace these two panels here. We'll hit the tab key until I get that panel selected with a door system. So I'm going to look for a curtain wall single glass, hit the tab key, find the next one, and curtain wall single glass again. Now that one's facing the wrong direction, but if I go to my existing conditions, I can select that second one and reverse it. And then when I go to my west elevation, or we were in a 3D view, weren't we? We go to the 3D view, we have a pretty decent curtain wall that we've designed that matches the style from the other side. So what I'd like you to do is create curtain walls for the other two sides. I'm going to create a curtain wall that let's say goes 4 feet from the end of both walls, so it goes across with the exception of starts 4 feet from the corner in both directions, and we'll do the same thing on the other side, about 4 feet from the corner in both directions. I think that ends up making it about 70 feet long. And you're going to add those as existing conditions, and you're going to go through the same steps that we went through here to create the curtain wall, except there aren't any doors in that one. It's just going to be panels with the solid panels above and creating the similar weaving pattern. Oh, one more thing. We are going to need to swap out this mullion for the one that expands and goes into. Let's change to our dollhouse view so we can see this. Remember, over here on this mullion we have that expansion there, so it fills in that gap between the walls. So we want to do the same thing on this side. So let's select those two mullions. So it would be this one. We're going to hold down the control key, and that one, and we want to change it to the one that says 5 by 5 rectangular to wall. Okay, so what happened is this extrusion is directional affected. So it worked on that wall, but on this wall it sent the thickness of the mullion in the wrong direction. If I were just to correct this, I'm going to go ahead and correct it to show you what would happen. If I go into Edit Type and I change the extrusion to -2 inches, that looks great here, but then when we go over here to this other mullion scenario, we have the mullion sticking out on that one. Okay, so we have to make another copy of this. Otherwise, we run the risk of exploding basically our other efforts. Okay, so let me just make sure I undid everything. Yeah, that's going the right direction now. So I want to take that, and I do want to use that same type of mullion. So let's grab that mullion there and this one, and I want to change it to the rectangular to wall, but then I want to edit the type, duplicate it, and let's go ahead and just call that 5x5 rectangular to wall 2, and I'm going to change this now to a -2-inch value, and that should do the trick. It does. Okay, so that fills in that space and makes that nice and clean. So we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to select this mullion and change it to the rectangular to wall 2, fills in that space, and now the curtain wall is done. Okay, so as I said, go ahead and create the curtain walls for the other two sides in the next video. Well, actually, what I'll do is I'll create it right now so you can see what it looks like, and then you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about. So give me a sec. And so this is what I'm talking about, those big curtain walls that go right across. So you're going to have your curtain wall here that we just created and finished creating. You have the original one, and then you're adding these two that pretty much go the full width of the wall minus the 4 feet on the corners.